One of the questions that I'm asked the most commonly, especially by my students, is they have a problem when they've got an idea and their idea isn't properly developed. They think about if it should be something that they can launch, they go into Google, type it in, and they find that somebody else has done exactly the same thing that they were thinking of. And in fact, maybe someone else has got a much better product or a much better service, or they're just doing it so far ahead. And they get really, really dejected because every idea that they come up with, as soon as they type it into Google, they find somebody who's done pretty much the exact same thing. And they don't want to copy them, they don't want to get in trouble, they don't want to compete against them. And they come up with a new idea and a new idea and a new idea. And I've seen so many people paralyzed by this because they feel like every time they come up with an idea, their idea needs to be completely new, completely original, completely life-changing. And unfortunately, that misperception really holds true. And as soon as you look around, you realize that that really isn't the case at all. What do I mean by this? Well, the first thing is you want to check that you're not infringing any patents or copyrights or doing any direct ripping off of another company or another person's idea. That's always bad. Try really hard not to rip off anybody else's ideas. But if somebody has a patent or somebody has a similar thing to what you're doing, there's nothing to stop you contacting them and seeing if you could license the idea from them to incorporate it in your product or service. So you can often work with the people who've developed a similar idea. It could be a really good way to jump ahead a few steps in your idea development. So it may be a little bit more expensive, but it doesn't mean that it's impossible. So that's something that you can always think about. And it's important that you always do it in the legal and correct way for the country that you're in, following all the rules and regulations, of course. But another thing that you can think of is there are so many ideas out there that are really, really similar, and it doesn't mean that there's not a place in the marketplace for them. For example, the idea of a table. It's quite a simple, straightforward idea, like, I don't know, a dining table or something. There's only so many ways that you can design a dining table, and all dining tables look pretty much the same. They've all got the flat bit along the top, the four legs at the sides, and it's just basically the size, the color, and the material that changes. But it doesn't stop huge furniture companies making lots of different variations of dining tables every year and selling them perfectly successfully. So if you've got an idea for a dining table and it's the same as everybody else's dining table, don't worry. If there's room for if there's room for your idea in the marketplace, it will succeed. So don't worry about that. You see this all the time. Think about how many movies that you see that are just like another movie, or how many stories that you read that are just like another story, or how many chairs that you sit on that are just like all the other chairs. So this is something to bear in mind. The next thing to bear in mind is that most people start Googling for their ideas and see their competitors, and they get hit by this when they've only really just thought of what their idea could be. They'll say, I've got a high-speed chicken cannon idea. I love this example, high-speed chicken cannons. So you take a chicken, you put it in a cannon, you fire the chicken out, and it's the fastest the chicken has ever gone in its life. It's a brilliant idea. And then they type into Google high-speed chicken cannon, and they find, damn, there's 50 other companies who are also manufacturing high-speed chicken cannons. We thought it was original. It's not. But the truth is, if you keep working on your idea and if you keep developing it, eventually your high-speed chicken cannon will be a very different kind of idea to what the competitors have. There's so many different ways to do it. There's so many little innovations that you might find that your competitors don't. And you might find at the end of it that your cannon doesn't just fire chickens, it can fire turkeys too, and you become the world's first turkey cannon firer, high-speed kind of thing. And I know this is a ridiculous example. But the reason why I always use chickens in my examples is because people always do something similar to your ideas, but work on your ideas, develop them so that your ideas eventually become significantly different. Now, you might not know at the start how your idea will be significantly different, but if you spend enough time working on it, then eventually it will become significantly different. It will be its own product or its own service or its own design in its own right. And when you look back, you'll say, wow, I couldn't believe this was how it was going to be when it was started. So a great thing to do, if you're ever worried that your idea is so similar to somebody else's, especially when you're at the early idea creation phase, look at famous products that have been designed in the past. Look at their version 1 and look at where they are now. And you see how over the passage of time, products evolve constantly. And have faith that your product, your invention, your idea will evolve constantly as well. And every year your idea will get better, smarter, faster, cleverer, whatever it is, as long as you keep working on it. So please don't give up just because somebody else has the same idea as you right now. Your idea might change in a couple of years, and that's a really wonderful thing. So don't give up on that change.